Sinzer here, and welcome to another Pokemon Sword and Shield video. In this video, I just wanted to go over one of the teams I'm going to try out in the new season. If you've seen any of my earlier videos, the new season is going to be crazy. There's going to be a lot of new Pokemon. Urshifu, for instance, is going to be legal. It's going to be such a big difference, and they've just made huge changes with this DLC expansion. It's almost like it's a brand new game, and that's kind of like how I'm going to go into it. Um, there's going to be two videos right now that I'm planning on going over for my teams. This video is going over the Trick Room team, and both of the teams that I'm doing are teams that I haven't really tried out in the past. I've never really tried a pretty dedicated Trick Room team. I haven't tried out just a like pure hyper offensive team, and those are two teams I'm going to try out in this season. But first, in this video, I just wanted to go over, you know, my Trick Room team. So let's go ahead and get to the explanation. Okay, so for the Trick Room team, I'm going with the standard Indeedee, Hatterene. Indeedee with Psychic Surge, Focus Sash is going to have Helping Hand, Follow Me, Safeguard. Now there's a new move, and I did talk about it in an earlier video, but there's Expanding Force, and I have that on Indeedee, Slowbro, and Hatterene, and it's basically a stronger Psychic attack. It's slightly lower. It's 80 base power instead of the 90 that Psychic is, but it's powered up by Psychic Terrain, which I'm assuming goes on top of the passive boost that Psychic Terrain gives. And it'll damage all opposing Pokemon when it's on Psychic Terrain. So that's going to make it basically stronger than Psychic, and it hits multiple people. So, and because, Indeedee is setting up the Psychic Terrain, it's going to be great. Now, of course, that could end up being taken away with somebody else's terrain. There's Rillaboom, and, there's going to be a lot of new things, but I will usually be able to keep Psychic Terrain up, and I can always Dynamax to, stop that. Now, Slowbro, I wanted to really build a team around Slowbro, and I just really like Galarian Slowbro. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to go for a Trick Room team. I actually didn't think it would be a full Trick Room team, and I mean, technically it's not, but it's mostly Trick Room. Um, but it's got Shell Sidearm, which is just it's the signature uh, poison uh, attack, and it's cool because it'll do damage based on which is going to be more effective, physical or special damage. So it just allows you to give you more options for a Slowbro, but it's just just a strong special or physical poison move, and of course it has Expanding Force, and then Trick Room and Flamethrower. And the cool thing about Slowbro is that I'll even be able to take advantage of its Quick Draw just in case I'm not in Trick Room, but it's it's still gonna hit pretty hard even without having one of those items that increase its stats or increase the damage that it does. But it's also can Dynamax for Max Ooze to increase its special attack even more. And there's not too many Pokemon that can get stab poison that are just strong with Dynamaxing. So the only one that I personally use that had a poison move was Goodra, and it's not a poison Pokemon. So, Dynamax Slowbro is going to be a good option as well. It'll have some better defenses, and it'll be able to, raise its special attack by using Max Ooze. And then I have Caparaja for just a pretty physical, heavy-hitting Pokemon for Trick Room as well. It's got oh yeah, my Caparaja and my Slowbro both have 0 IVs, but I didn't get that on my Hatterene, sadly. But Caparaja has Sheer Force, which it's going to be interesting to try this out. But basically, Sheer Force takes away additional effects from a move in order to increase the power. So, like for Iron Head, it would increase the power of Iron Head by taking away the flinch chance, which makes it hit really hard with that and Life Orb. Um, yeah, it would hit super strong. And then play rough instead of lowering the attack, it'll be a little bit stronger. But I might end up taking that away because I do have two other fairies. But it has high horsepower just because it's a strong move for coverage, and superpower is really strong. Though superpower does not count, that still will lower your stats. So I don't think, yeah, that does not get the boost from sheer force. But it's just a strong move anyway. Again, I might end up changing play rough and or superpower. But there's a move, steel roller, which hits really hard, but it only attacks. It can only work while there's a terrain up, and it will destroy the terrain. Now I'm pretty positive that even though this is an extra effect, it's going to be one of those moves that it ignores the ability. Because if you could just use steel roller on Kaparaja to like if I have Psychic Terrain up and I use Steel Roller and it doesn't destroy the Psychic Terrain because of sheer force, that would just be broken. I could just spam Steel Roller every turn as long as it's, steeled up. And it would just do too much damage. So I'm not expecting that to happen, but I will still check it out. But because I'm going to have Psychic Terrain up, there's always gonna be with this team there's gonna be a terrain up unless something bad happens. But even if the terrain is changed, Steel Roller will just destroy it, and I can just destroy my own Psychic Terrain, which I know is counterproductive, but will be fine if I don't also have Hatterene or Slowbro, or if they've already done their work and I can bring in Kabaraja to clean up with Steel Roller breaking the terrain. So I think that'll be pretty cool. And then I have Mimikyu as another option for Trick Room, and it's fast, so I can also use it outside of Trick Room. It hits hard. I'm gonna see if Room Service will lower its speed. It probably won't lower it to where I need it to be for it to go, uh, first in Trick Room, but it's going to be there to try out. And if not, then I'll try something else out, like maybe Red Card or something. But its disguise makes it really great for a Trick Room setter as well, and just a good Pokemon in general, with Phantom Force and Play Rough for stab and Woodhammer for more coverage because I don't have that many. It's actually the only grass move that I have on this. And then Melodic is just there for, again, just an all-around good option. Whether I have Trick Room up or not, it's a great defensive Pokemon. It hits really hard. It's got competitive weakness policy and recover. It's just a great Pokemon that can fit on many teams, and it's also there for coverage. Scalds for like the fire type Pokemon, and it's water, so it gets stab. So Scald will be good for the water. I mean the fire types, the ground types that Caparaja is weak to. Um, and yeah, and then I can also Dynamax it with Mudshot. I really wish it could use the new Scorching Sands, which is basically a ground scald, but Mudshot will still work. Could be counterproductive while I'm doing it while I'm in Trick Room, but it'll be good for more coverage and if I Dynamax. And yeah, Hatterene is just great. Good Trick Room setter that can go straight into offensive. Mystical Fire to also, I believe that's the one that lowers attack. Again, more fire coverage to stop those steel type Pokemon. Babiri Berry, so it can hopefully survive a Duraludon, and its Gmax Smite will confuse Pokemon. And another thing about the Gmax Smite is it's really good because um, it's it's a fairy move, so I won't have to worry about if I Dynamax my Hatterene. I don't have to worry about you know uh, switching the terrain. I'll still keep Psychic Terrain up because if it was a regular Hatterene and I use Gmax Fairy move or Dynamax Fairy move, it would change the terrain to Fairy. So uh, yeah, it's going to be really good to use that. Now having Hatterene as another Trick Room user is good as well because now I have two Pokemon that can use Trick Room and then immediately go into attack. So I can actually use either Hatterene, although well Hatterene would be better obviously to set up Hatterene or Mimikyu, but I could also lead with Slowbro if I wanted. But having that option is really good. Hatterene hits really hard, and this Gmax form is really nice. So yeah, uh, yeah, it's just good having those in my opinion, if you're gonna have a Trick Room team, it's good to be able to have those options where you can go right into the offensive. I thought about having Dusclops, and I still might end up using it, but I like the option of having my Trick Room users also be able to attack. And with them having that expanding force and taking advantage of Psychic Terrain, I think it's going to be pretty good synergy. And that's it for my preview on one of the teams I'm going to be using in the new season. If you liked the video, please give a like and subscribe for future videos. And as always, thanks for watching.